Hi, my name is Frank Turner and I want to talk today about one of my very favourite albums, Reconstruction Site by The Weakerthans. If I'm honest, I could probably pick any of The Weakerthans records, maybe not the first one, which is still a good album, but I love all of their records have their own moments, but I suppose this is the one to talk about today. And I love it. I mean, this album's just nearly flawless. If you put a gun to my head and asked me to pick a folk band, I'd say The Weakerthans. They combine... everybody always talks about the lyrics of The Weakerthans, which is fair enough. I was just reading through some of the lyrics here, and I mean, there's a poetry here that is just other bands don't have, myself included. You know, he says, to crack the code of muscle, slack and tense. I mean, no one writes lyrics like that for pop music, you know. But I mean, so everybody always talks about lyrics, and John Kay is an incredible poet and songwriter, but I think that the music is just as important for me, and the guitar work, Stephen's guitar work is incredible, and just the whole thing, it's just a perfect mixture of kind of pop music and kind of a little bit of punk rock and quite a lot of indie rock, and it's intelligent and it's heartfelt and it's moving, and it's kind of flawless as well. There's really not one song on this record that I'm not completely in love with, and it's got just enough kind of concept albumness for me. You know, I don't like sort of super concept records, but I like the way that sort of there's a melody that comes through Manifest, that comes back through Hospital Vespers and back through Past You, that kind of brings the whole record together as a whole. There's a song on this album called A Plea from a Cat Named Vertute. I actually have a cat named Vertute tattooed on my arm, which is my tribute to this band and indeed this album. So yeah, I love this record. Picking a favourite moment of this album is an extremely difficult thing to do because it's endlessly brilliant. I mean, I love the trumpet line that comes in at the end of Manifest. That's just amazing. I absolutely adore I think it's in the song The Prescience of Dawn, when there's a line towards the end of it where he says, "I got more faults than the state of California," and there's a pedal steel line comes in, and it's totally country in a way that the rest of the record isn't, which I think is a beautiful thing. I love Hospital Vespers as a song. I mean, I could just go on about this. I guess if I'm going to pick one, this is slightly random, but I love it in Our Retired Explorer when he says, "Hey, do you have a ship and a dozen able men that maybe you could lend me?" That's a beautiful line, with the clapping line as well. Oh, it's so good. Talking through the Weakerthans discography as a whole, I mean, they've done 4 records and John did a solo record. The first record's alright, it's a little bit shaky, then finding their feet for me. For a lot of people, the second album, Left and Leaving, is the classic record. And of course, I mean, I bought that record when it came out, and I was on my second ever tour at the time, and I remember listening to it lying on top of the amps in the back of the van, age 17, endlessly. And you know, it's definitely kind of a time and a place record for me. Actually, when it came out, I kind of missed this record, and it sort of just kind of didn't really listen to The Weakerthans for a few years. And then I actually got into the record after this, Reunion Tour, which a lot of people actually don't like, but I love that album. I think it's amazing. And having got into that one, I decided that I needed to go back and get into this one again. So this is, in a way, for me, is the last Weakerthans record I got into. But I think it's kind of like the definitive statement in a way. Left and Leaving is still slightly kind of exploring who they are as a band, and Reunion Tour is them kind of stretching their toes over the edge of who they are as a band, which is an excellent thing to do, which everyone should do as a band. But as a kind of sort of basic statement of what the Weakerthans sound like, this is kind of bang in the middle in a way. Plus, I mean, it's this is a weird thing to say, but it's got more songs on it, and they're all good. So it's kind of like you sort of don't run out of great things to listen to. So this record came out on Epitaph Records, and I was signed to Epitaph Records for a number of years, and it was 2011, and I played a show in Hamburg, and the following day we had a day off, and it so happened that the Weakerthans were playing in Hamburg the following day, and Carolina from Epitaph sort of said to me, "Hey, you know, if you want to hang around in Hamburg for the day, and then we'll go and hang out with the Weakerthans, we can meet them and stuff." And I was excited because, you know, I do adore this band. And so I went out and we met them we actually met them some of them in a bar the night before the show, and we hung out and they were very nice. And then we went down to the show the next day, and I met John, and I mean, first of all, John kind of knew who I was and had intelligent comment to pass on the music that I make, which made me kind of weep like a little girl. And then he let me kind of pick a bunch of songs from their set list to play, which was exciting. And then he let me play guitar on one song for them. I played guitar on the song Pamphleteer, you know, in front of 300 people in Hamburg, and I pretty much cried. I'm not gonna lie. I came off stage. I don't think Carolina realised quite what she'd done. Do you know what I mean? And I sort of came off and was like, "I can die now," and she was like, what? So yeah, that was very exciting. That was a very special occasion for me. And I mean, I would count John and Stephen as a friend these days, and you know, we hang out, and Greg as well. Then I also I tour a lot. I play in Winnipeg a fair bit, and I just had a wonderful moment. There's a song on this album called One Great City, which is a song where the chorus refrain is "I hate Winnipeg," which is where the Weakerthans are from. And we were in Winnipeg about 2 years ago, maybe, can't remember. And I decided to play a cover of that song, and I did, but I changed it to "I Hate Winchester," which is where I'm from. And but it was great singing that song. Everybody in the crowd knew it. They're like the band, the patron saint band of Winnipeg. And John was sat inside the stage watching me play it, and that was a special moment for me as well.